3, 2, 1, get 'em!
This week's episode is brought to you by Salt Creek, some of the best steel and TSS on the market, and Kicks Industries. The Smoke Series is my favorite. Welcome back to this Wednesday night live. Welcome to the Waterfowl Den. My name is RD. Let's get started. How's everybody doing? Who's tired of the heat? I am so tired of this heat. Oh man, they talking about it's going to be a cool front coming in next week. A whole 10 degrees. It's going to be in the 80s. It's going to be so nice. I ain't even going to lie. I am so ready for wintertime. Y'all better keep your ears open. There's some talk about some tropic storms starting to roll around. You know, we start getting our hurricanes typically in September. So it's about that time to get prepared now so that you ain't shot later. But hopefully everybody's doing good. The other news about weather is they're talking about a pretty cold winter this year. Does that mean we're going to have waterfowl? Maybe. Is it going to be cold? Are we going to get to see snow? Can we get snow on Christmas? Like, what is that white stuff? I'm not sure, but hopefully it's going to be cold. I am ready to get rid of some of this heat because it's terrible. But hopefully everybody's doing good tonight. We're going to be talking about some changes that's coming along in South Carolina, especially if you are an outdoors hunter. But this weekend is the PD Outdoor Classic, and it's going to be in Florence. It's going to be in the Florence Center. If you don't know where Florence is, it's middle right. It depends if you're looking on the map of South Carolina. Most of the time people go through Florence to go to the beach. A lot of people don't know that there's an arena there, like a coliseum. It's really big, and they play hockey there, which is a really cool arena, what they call the Florence Center. But it's going to be an outdoors hunting event. It's called the PD Outdoor Classic. They got all kind of stuff up on their website. But definitely check them out on that. That's where we're going to be heading Saturday. I recommend going. It wasn't that big last year. Now I'm just going to say it was a decent size. How about that? A decent size event. They used to have it all the time, and then during COVID it shut down and they never got it back going. Last year was the first year since COVID. So this year should be better than last year. But Saturday is going to rain. Friday night going into Saturday, we may have to put the boat back together because that's how bad it's going to be raining. But it'd be a good thing to attend. We had a pretty good time last year. Me and my son went. They're going to have a bunch of stuff going on. Dave's Hot Chicken Reaper Challenge. Absolutely not going to participate in that. But I definitely will participate in watching and laughing. They got all kind of stuff going on. Doors open. It looks like 9 o'clock on Saturday. That competition's at 12. And then the second event for the Dave's Hot Chicken Reaper Challenge is going to be at 4 o'clock. They're going to have a lot of stuff going on. So go check out the PD Outdoor Classic. Man, we ain't even 4 minutes in and I'm starting to mess up words, which ain't uncommon on this channel. But hopefully it's a good event. So how many people's looked at the new South Carolina rules and regulations? You know, I from the get-go, I'm going to throw it up on the screen here. I called it the rules and regulations because I thought that's what it was always called. And right there it talks about laws and regulations, and I'm like, man, that must be something new that they changed for this year. Nope, I went back like 3-4 years. It was must have been always called law and regulations. Maybe I didn't know what I was talking about. Maybe I didn't even show myself up here because I put the left guest. There we go. There's my beautiful face. Look at that, man. I'm glad y'all got to see me here. But let's go through it. The front picture, a lot of people is talking about online. Why did they put the bob white on there? Because that is something that is definitely fading from South Carolina. It is definitely missing. And, you know, when I was a kid, we used to see a lot of bob whites. Not so much anymore. Now, I will say, YouTube, this is a rules and regulation catalog. So anything that you see on this website is from South Carolina. It is not live. I'm not trying to facilitate anything. I'm just reading the rules and regulations. So don't ding me on this video. So let's get into it. Always the beginning. You got your contents here. What I'm going to be focusing on more is what changed and mostly hunting. So it is pretty nice of a photo there. And I'm not even going to lie, because then they give credit to who took the photo. The photo was by Hunter Bridges. That's a pretty cool photo. And if you've never listened to a bob white, they make a beautiful sound. You can hear them. It's like a whistle. We just don't see them as much as we used to. The first couple pages, you're going to see what is new. One big thing in South Carolina is the red drum. If you're going saltwater fishing, you are going to target the red drum. You better make sure you got that one under control and you understand what changed. The new law is 1 fish per day and 2 fish per day boat limit. While it increases the size, the red drum to 1825, and then it talks about what bait you can use and what hook size. Anglers must use a non-stainless steel. Basically, what they're trying to do is bring back or make the red drum fishing better. That's what they're trying to do, and that's what it says at the very beginning. They're trying to adapt to plans to make South Carolina red drum fishing better. There was a change in the deer tags. If you've been following DNRs on the website and stuff like that, they've been pushing the, hey, don't forget you got an extra doe tag. Hey, don't forget doe tags. Let's take care of some of these does. And why do they want that? It is game management. Plus, I talked about it before. A lot of people knock hunters and stuff like that for deer hunting, not knowing that really does save us on our car insurance. The more each year you're paying your insurance off of however many people had claims last year. That's why it goes up and down and back and forth. So if there's more people having wrecks because there's deers wrecks, then policy's going to go up. That's just how that works. So if you got your car insurance and it was the same, thank a hunter, because they definitely help on that. Blue catfish. They have changed the limit of blue catfish harvest, where it says there to 150 fish per day on state waterways. I'm 100% sure that is probably to do with, it says they increases the day limit. That is probably to people that are catching them on, mine went blank. It's the long lines with the hooks. Oh man, with the jugs. Blank. There is nobody upstairs tonight in this brain. Not trout line, long line, stuff like that. Woo. But they say where they put limits at and have different lakes in there. So make sure you read up on that. There was a change to the WMA Raccoon Day training season. So definitely pay attention to that if you run a dog. What else has changed? Nothing on that page I see. This Great Outdoors Expo. Highly recommend going to that show. That's going to be coming up October the 9th and 10th. And I will be at that event both days in the retail booth. So if you're in there, definitely come by and say, hey, hang out. Let's talk shotguns, all kind of stuff. The rest of the stuff is nothing that I saw different. I don't know off the top of my head if there was any changes in fees. I felt like at one time I remember there was some kind of change in fee on something, but I can't remember what it was. Scrolling on down, let's keep on going. And you can go to this rules and regulations. There's two places to get it. You can either go to South Carolina DNR's website to get it, or you can go to the rules and regulation where most states upload all their rules and regulations. But I recommend going to DNR's just to make sure you got the right PDF downloaded. They got some fishing days, free fishing days, which is going to be Memorial Day, which is already passed. May, which is already passed. All of them are already passed. Well, he's going into 2027. That's right. So we're in this is for 2026 to 2027. So you get 3 days to fish, or you could just buy your license and fish all year. Now I will say when you buy your license, listen, there is some benefits and some disadvantages on buying your license. If you're just fishing, you can buy just fishing. But if you plan to hunt, do not buy just fishing license and say, hey, in the fall, I'll get my hunting license. I recommend that you get your sportsman. Your sportsman comes with fishing and hunting, but the sportsman always also comes with game management. Because if you just buy a fishing license and it goes for a year, it will not allow you to get the sportsman package, and you have to buy everything additionally. But regardless, everything's good for a year and they renew on a year or so. And if you're using the app, a lot of people auto renew. That is good and it is bad. It is good because it auto renews and you won't forget to get your license. But the bad part is a lot of times people get their hunting license right before hunting season, or let's just take dove season, which is coming up in 10 days. It's crazy. We're halfway through August. They buy them at dove season. Well, next year comes around. Dove season could be early. It could be late. It goes to auto renew and it auto renews and you're good. Or it auto renews and your credit card date has expired. You don't get no notification. It doesn't say, hey, you need to update your card. I don't even think it says you got declined. Like, you need to pay attention when it is time for it to renew. Make sure it auto renews on that date. Don't go on the assumption, hey, I'm good. It's set to auto renew. Don't do that. Also on your boat stickers, your title, your taxes on your boat, you can auto renew on it also, but just make sure that your card is good. Just keep a eye on it. You can use the app. It's really easy to do. I highly recommend it. If you look at the catalog, there's a lot of good reading in these catalogs. A lot of times you can pick these rules and regulation books up at like any fishing store. They talk about, all different stuff that's going on in our state, how you can help, different kind of species. There's a lot of information in this book. Talks about the species here. There's the regulations. That's where you can get most. I'm not going to say all because I don't know that, but most states you can go to one website and see every state's rules and regulations there. But like I said, I prefer going straight to the state's website. But there's all about the fishing and the lakes. So let's get on down to our hunting. Like I said, they do a really good job in putting this book together. I really wish that it would come out at the beginning of July instead of waiting almost a month, but I'm sure it's got something to do with budgeting years because the state works from year to year from July. But make sure your gaming zones is correct. Talking about WMA, game management. Every state is different. Every game management is different. So here is the section starting with hunting. General information on hunting. Make sure you read up on whatever WMA you going because each one is different. Deer tags, how to measure it, how to put your tag on, different quotas. I don't think that we go off of zones too much as back in the day for like turkeys, but we still do for deer season because here's where deer season comes in. So somebody tells you, hey, we don't have zones anymore. That's zones for turkey hunting where the state comes in all together, where deer hunting still has zones. And you have zones for game management and private lands. See, this says deer season on private lands. AJ Bird. So each one's going to have their own zones. It's going to tell you what limits you can get, when does archery come in, bow, crossbow, stuff like that, and then black powder and stuff like that. August the 15th, game zone 3, buck only. So there is somebody right now being able to deer hunt. Youth Day in Zone 1 is September 26th. I'm moving my mouse around on the other side, and I thought y'all could see it. But this is where I'm reading this section right here. Just read each one that you can go on here because each youth day is also different. So just make sure you pay attention to that. And you have to report your harvest. Now there is an exception when there's no internet, because there are some places you can go where there is no internet, but that still means you have to still tag them. Hey Jeff, how y'all doing? We're going through the South Carolina new DNR rules and regulations. If you didn't or have never attended the Palmetto Classic, this event right here is by far, I'm not going to say the Ducks Expo. The Ducks Expo is amazing. Like, I highly recommend it. It is in Memphis. But this show in Columbia has so much hunting, so much fishing, so much everything. Bass boats, fishing boats, pontoons, lawnmowers, tractors, farming, like animals, livestock, all, I mean, every hunting is massive. And I promise you, if you go to that event next year, it's going to be April the 2nd through the 4th at the South Carolina State Fairgrounds. It is right beside the beautiful Gamecock Stadium. I mean, when you see, all you got to do is just see the glow in the air, and it's the next thing to heaven. Maybe. I'll come hang out with you, even though you don't come out in my living. What? That's not true. That is not true, Mike. You shouldn't even be talking like that. I do be coming in. Oh, not to get sidetracked, but I picked up a new hobby. And some people have been calling me Sheldon. You know, it could be because I got the Honda Ridgeline. You know, a lot of people saying, you know, I traded in the Silverado and I got the Ridgeline, and now it's got a camper shell on it. I officially became the old man, and now I am being called Sheldon because I have started collecting something new. I'm not trading it in. I am 100% not trading in the shotguns, but I am trading in a hobby that is in their air condition to get me past these hot days. Cause your boy ain't made for the heat. You know, the old Peterbilt over here, the big semi-fat jugger ain't made for the heat. So I have been collecting and messing with trains. I know some people say it's nerdy, which I am in IT. I mean, it probably is nerdy. So I have been building a bunch of train sets. And when I say that, I have been in the hobby maybe 4 weeks, and I have got 3 layouts now. So maybe it's not even a hobby anymore. Maybe it's just, I don't know. But this is the HO scale. This is one of my layouts. And then here is the other one. That's N scale. That just tells you right there how much difference they are. But if anybody knows me, there's one thing that I always wanted to be was a train engineer. Like I love trains, and that would be like, if I could be any job, that would be what it is. But I'm too old to be changing careers, and especially starting at the bottom. Midlife crisis. Yeah, and the air conditioning. I ain't even gonna lie. I mean, y'all, not only does y'all don't even know. I'm telling y'all don't know. Like, I told my wife, I'm like, you know, when I do something, I don't put my toes in it. I don't dip my toes in it and be like, I jump in and I go head first. Like, my trains have sound. Like, they're 100% sound. And you know, some people would say, you ought to put it up here in your man cave. This is my thinking now. And you know, that could be dangerous on its own. So, and I don't even know why I was showing y'all that in that little teeny photo there. You know, I said I clearly was in IT. You would think I'd get this worked out. So let me show you my H scale again. Look at that. There's H scale. There is N scale. Very, very much smaller. But they all have sound. And like, I've built in 4 weeks a layout that has grass. There's a porta john with a guy sitting on the toilet. If you don't know that video, that's a whole nother thing. But there are some Easter eggs in my layouts. I can't tell you all about the Easter eggs, but there are Easter eggs in my layouts that are hilarious. I'm just gonna put it out there. But people would say, why didn't you put them on your man cave? So hear me out. I'll put it one layout, the bigger layout, in our bedroom. And some people are going to be like, your bedroom? Because where's my wife? She loves to watch movies and stuff like that. So I put it in the bedroom to be with her so we still could carry on conversations. I'm not up here. She's not by herself. We're still together. We still get that together time. But she has her hobby of watching movies and stuff like that. And now this hobby of building layouts and all kind of stuff. I just can't play the sounds when she's in the room. But it's really cool sounds. I ain't even gonna lie to you, because when you get the train throttle, the engine speeds up and makes anyway, back to the live squirrel moment. Anybody want to talk trains? But in a couple days, it's gonna be dove season and it's gonna be goose season. So we're gonna get back to that. Let's get back to the rules and regulations. So I highly recommend you going to see this show next year. Highly recommend it. Don't listen to Mike Green. Carolina Gamecocks football stadium is by far the best stadium whatsoever. The players, yeah. Are we a winning team? Yeah. I used to say we were number one in basketball until last season. And my gosh, that was a pitiful beatdown. I mean, wow. So Mike's started playing The Way of the Wild on PS5. That's pretty cool. Noah was playing some games like that too. His was a different wild. I think he's playing the fishing one. But turkey seasons, I already got in here our turkey rules and regulations for next year. It looks like the exact same thing. 2 birds. So bear tags. Anybody want to go bear hunting? Would love to go bear hunting. Here we go. This is what we all came for. The morning dove, September the 5th. So that's when it gets real around here in South Carolina. I love dove hunting. I am going to be using the 28 gauge this year. I am going to use 28 gauge for the whole time. Can't do no worse. We all know that you take a box of shells and you come back with 2 doves, but we're gonna take the 28 out this year. So there's some public dove fields, and that's gonna be on page 82 through 85. Next year we can kill. Yeah, that's right, Mike. Next year the rules is going to be, I'm just kidding now. Just kidding. Don't nobody criticize me. Next year the rules are going to be you got to take 4 men in the woods. You get 1 turkey, and each person gets 1 leg and one chicken quarter or a turkey quarter. Yeah, you can't get a whole turkey. You just you got to pick between your 4 buddies what you're going to get. But scrolling on down, it talks about coyotes. We have had a humongous population of coyotes around my house. Like when I say 50 yards from the back porch, they're on the camera, and I'm telling you, I have lived in the same area my whole life. Like same area. I've never seen coyotes around here. But my trail camera is picking one up every night around 9 o'clock. If you haven't seen the short, the long video should come out this weekend. But I got sent a new thermal scope, and let me tell you, it is wow. That's all I can say. It comes in like a Pelican box. It is in a hard case, like rechargeable batteries, night vision, 1-shot setup. It measures your range up to like 1,100 something yards. It's got ballistic calculator built into it. It goes up to like a 50 cal. Like, it is legit awesome. But it's about time to start taking out some of these coyotes. So this is what I'm excited about right here, because when September rolls around, that's when I start doing my happy dance. So if you want me to come to an event, don't have your event between September and February. Don't get married between them dates. I don't go to too many weddings anyway, but I'm going to use that as an excuse, because when September rolls around, we get early goose, which is the whole month. We get dove, and we get early teal. Let's talk about it. So morning doves, you get September the 5th through October the 3rd. That's almost a month, give or take a couple days. Early teal, the late part of September. Now, this is a tricky time for us. This is usually when we have hurricanes. Like, it is very, like, almost every year, hurricanes come through here about that time period. This was coming this year, would be 2 years when that bad hurricane came through, tore up Georgia, and almost wiped half of North Carolina off the map. Like Bat Cave, Chimney Rock, Lake Lure, Asheville, all that area up there, just set it back like 60 years, maybe even further than that. I mean, it is, if you have not been on Interstate 40, where the interstate completely washed out and was shut down for a year, it is devastation. Like, to this day, there is only still 2 lanes open. The 2 lanes that they have open was the, I guess that would be westbound, because it'd be going west, but it's terrible. They have both lanes going in that one lane of traffic. So much stuff going on. Jay, I got some shorts out on a couple YouTube reels. You need to go check that out for sure. That thermal is legit. I'll send you some pictures later. But with that being said, 2 years ago when that hurricane came out, me and my buddy Matt, we went hunting down there. We almost couldn't even make it to the landing. I mean, it was devastation. There was no power, trees in the road. Like, it was crazy. But goose season starts September the 1st through the 30th. Like I said, a whole month. You got some marsh hens. I have never been marsh hunting, not marsh hunting, but marsh hen hunting. I see videos. I see people doing it. I really think it's cool. Arching as suppressed really soon. Been looking at some thermals. Wait till you see this thermal, Jay. Now, I don't know everything that's changed to be commenting on suppressors, especially with all the rules changing, but now would be a really good time to probably purchase something in that statue. Wouldn't know how to do it because the rules have changed. I think a lot of people are really still up in the air on what to do and what you can and can't, but definitely now is looking like the time to do something. But you got your dates over here. Youth days, they already got that out there. You got your federal days. You got your veterans and active military days. So go ahead and mark them down. Crow season. If you never went crow hunting on private lands, November to March 1st. I mean, that is a pretty big season. And right there it says there is no bag limit during the open season on private lands. Crow may be taken with firearm, bow and arrow, or a falcon. You know, there's a couple of videos of a guy who has a falcon who rides down the road in a car, and he launches the falcon out and it takes out ducks and doves. I don't even know where the dude is, but it's amazing. Like, amazing. 7 days to get yours. I hear you, big man. I know you've been building that AR for a while. So let's see. Dove hunting. Here's a section on dove hunting and waterfowl. Here's your WMAs for waterfowl. When you can't hunt. Make sure you know that. See if anything's changed, which categories has changed. It tells you what days you can and can't hunt, stuff like that. So public dove fields. Now, I will say there is a dove field in York County that has the most beautiful sunflowers that I have ever seen. Now they're probably cut. Like, they probably have definitely knocked them jokers down. Probably in preparing for dove season. Like I said, we're only, I don't know, 15 days, maybe less than 15 days away from dove season opening. How do they go in there and knock them all down? Probably not. They probably keep sections to do it for the whole season of dove, but that place up there is beautiful. Just remember dove season coming up. A lot of people go hunt game management and they'll say, "Oh, I went and there was like 40 people out there shooting and I shot the bird and somebody went out there." Come on. You would have to almost hunt every day for doves to make a meal out of it. Don't get that irritable or in a fight or anything like that over a dove. Like, I'm sure there's a time when you shoot a dove and you know you shot it and somebody else claims it, and well, let them claim it. Let them claim their bag limit, and then they're going to be gone. So, like, if you find somebody like that, be like, "Hey, you want these two? What about my other two buddies? Oh, your bag limit's full. You got to go home." So, there's other ways to play that. Just fill their bag limit up so they have to go home. But a lot of these game managements will be packed out the first day, and after that, they start going down. Not the game management doesn't go downhill, but the people coming out tend to fall off later on in the season. So definitely check them out. Make sure you got a plug in the gun. That is probably, I bet you, I'd like to see the statistic number of how many people get tickets for no plug or no hunting permit. One of the two. I'm sure that's the top during dove season. But this is our time to get practicing for waterfowl season. It's time to dust the old shotgun off and get out there and have fun. But I will say, it's still snake season. But just remember to be safe. Like I said, go check out the map. Get to know your zones. Get to know your game management. Make sure there's no rules changed before you go. Hogs is a big thing in our state right now. They do so much damage. Just check what zone you in, what area you are in, and when seasons are for that particular species that you're trying to go after. You don't want to see these people. These are great people. I got some really good friends in DNR, but nobody wants to see them. I wish sometimes they would stop by and bring a chair and a soda pop and some popcorn and hang out, but they got a rough job. I know they do. They got a job to do just like I got a job to do. So I try to remember that. We're almost at the end of the book here, because once you get down here, you start getting into the registration of a boat. Make sure your boat numbers don't change. They went from a 3-year purchase of your sticker to 1 year. With that being said, make sure you got everything up to date on it. It does not appear at this time that I'm going to have my boat ready by teal season. It has been so hot out there that the glue and the resin and stuff, the resin would be dry before I could get it on the fiberglass. Maybe if y'all hit that subscribe button, the check, thumbs up, donated to the channel, maybe I could put air conditioning in the shop and not have to be working in them conditions, and maybe could get the boat done. But wow, it's so hot outside. I just gotta play in the air conditioning with my trains, man. I just oh man. I really do hope everybody's having a good week. Like I said, we are almost in September. That means it's about to get real for everybody. Deer season's about to kick up. I got a monster on camera. And when I say monster, I'm not talking like a massive. It's bigger than that one right there for sure. But it's also like a residential kind of deer. So, I mean, that being said. But like I said, this weekend is an event in Florence. I will be there Saturday. Bring your umbrella. It's probably going to rain Saturday. But I wanted to finish tonight with a story. It's a pretty good story. And this is how we're going to end the night. With story time with RD. That's kind of weird. Nobody would invite me to read a book at the library. Be like, what did he say? So I want to tell a story tonight before we call it a night. So there once was a king who ruled over a kingdom. He was a good king. Like, everybody loved him. All his people loved him. He took care of all of them. He established laws throughout the kingdom. You know, I mean, he was a king. Those laws were there for a reason. They protected the people and to keep order, just like the DNR that I was talking about. Nobody likes Mr. Green Pants when Mr. Green Pants is in green pants, but they have to be there. It is what it is. So this king was like no other. Not just like a little bit. He was a good king. Everybody loved the king. You know, sometimes I wish we could pick a president. Like, everybody would love this president. This is how this king was. Everybody loved this king. But this king started noticing his money disappearing. He's like, where's my money going to? He put out a rule that said if anybody's stealing my money, they're going to get some lashes. Well, they didn't find out who was stealing the money. So he went from 1 lash to like 5 lashes, and then the money kept going missing. He said, okay, now I'm going to 20 lashes. And then it went to 40. And 40 was almost a death sentence. That's pretty much how mad the king got. So the king ordered his people to investigate where this money was going. And it was a large amount of money. So the king ordered his people to investigate. Well, they found out who it was. The king was up on his judge pedestal. He's like, all right, bring them in. It's my time to judge them. Well, as all the people were there, because they won't know who was been stealing the money, here walked in his daughter. His own daughter. The same daughter that he loved since the day she was born. She has broken the law. And now she had to stand in front of him and be convicted. But there was a punishment for that stealing. It was 40 lashes. She wasn't going to survive that. Hey, most men wouldn't survive that. And it wasn't the punishment someone could simply walk away from. It was definitely going to kill that person. The courtroom became so silent that you could hear crickets. Everybody wanted to know what the king was going to do. Because the king had two choices. And they were pulling at his heart. As a father, he loved her. He wanted to forgive her. But as a king, he also had to do the ruling. He couldn't say simply, my daughter doesn't apply to this, and just sweep it under the rug. Because if he did that, what would the people think? What would happen to the rest of the rules? The punishment was 40 lashes. And the guards came in and said, what do you want to do? The judge said, she's guilty. So when the guard pulled out the lash, and most of the time them lashes had bones in them that would, when they hit your skin, they would rip your skin. That's usually how you died. He said, you broke the law and your punishment's got to be paid. And I love you. Then the king did something different that nobody saw coming. He got off of his high chair, his courtroom. He walked down. He took his crown off. He took his jacket off. He placed his jacket on her, and he covered her back. And he told the men, I'm paying it for her. Go ahead. Take your lashes on me. And the soldiers were like, sir, that's going to kill you. It's going to kill you. It's okay. I'm going to receive this punishment that belongs to my daughter. 1 lash, 2 lash, 3 lashes, and eventually 40. And the king paid the price himself. He didn't change the law. Justice had to be served. But mercy was given because the king was willing to take the punishment upon himself. And that's where the story is really going. It's so much of God. He's a loving father. He's a righteous judge. He loves us so much, but he can't overlook the sin. There's got to be a punishment, because if there isn't a punishment, what's the point of having rules? That's what Jesus did for us. We had a debt that we could not pay. He took that punishment that belonged to us, like that king's daughter. That was our judgment, that he took it. He paid it right there on the cross. At the cross, God's justice and God's mercy met together. So when you're going through things and you don't understand, when you're hurting, when you're asking God why, just remember, don't confuse God's silence with him not being there or being absent. He's not. Don't confuse a difficult season with God abandoning you. He's not. You may not understand the story you're living right now, but you can trust the one who is writing the story. God is still our Father. He still is love, and he proved that when he sent his son to take our place. I read another story today that was talking about the Israelites. Like, we know that the Israelites were in slavery. They finally got out of slavery. They went to go rebuild the temple, and they were rebuilding the temple, and you had the old folks, probably gray-headed. Well, this ain't the way the temple was used to look like, and we'll never have the temple the way it used to be, and this is that. And they kept looking in the past, never looking in the future. They always kept looking in the past. This ain't the way it used to be. I want to go back to when it was like it used to be. What used to be was sin and slavery and being punished. Sometimes when we're in a situation and we just want it to go back to normal, we look in the past. And living in the past, you don't get to look at the future. You don't even get to realize where you're at. Because sometimes where you're really at is better than your past. And you just don't realize it. I definitely have to say that. Definitely. Whew, the 40s has been one tough season for me. Do I want to go back? Do I want to go back to my 30s? Do I want to go back to my 20s? There used to be a couch up here in the man cave that was a lazy boy, and it was a pull-out couch. My parents bought this thing maybe late 80s, early 90s. It was probably early 90s, and it was a lazy boy. And when we got our house, well, way later, like 2011, I think, somewhere around in there. Mom was like, why don't you take that couch? It's just sitting out there in storage. You know, if it's a pull out, you know, a guest comes over. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. And so we took it, and my brother-in-law, which is a pretty big boy, not fat, but like big boy, he helped me carry that chair, that couch up the stairs. And our stairs has got a good, you know, 90-degree angle. And this was 15, 17 years ago. And it literally kicked our butts. I mean, kicked our butts so bad that when we got it up here, I told him, and I told my mother, I said, when that couch is time to come down, it is not coming down in one piece. I will tear it apart before we die to carry that couch back down. And let me tell you, this week, that couch came down. It came down so much, I had to make 2 trips to the landfill because it was in pieces. They do not build it like that anymore. I'm telling you, that lazy boy was solid. It had a metal frame. It had a mattress. I'm telling you, even coming down in sections whooped me. And that got me thinking. We carried that chair up, or that couch up, pretty much in our prime. Like 17 years ago, I was definitely in my low 30s. I was a whole lot more in shape then. But you know what? I don't think I want to go back. Sometimes I like to go back for the memory of the kids, but I'm living in the now. I try not to harp on the past. Tendency, I might look back. And looking back sometimes ain't what you want to be. Because there's another story where some lady who looked back when told not to look back, she turned to a pillar of salt. So looking back ain't always what we need to do. We need to focus where we're going. Don't look back, where we're going. Sometimes we don't know where we're going, but we're going that way. We're trying to do the best of it. So going forward, just letting y'all know, I'm not getting rid of the channel for trains. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of hunting expos coming up. There's going to be a lot of events. We're going forward. And I'm using the end of the lives to talk about God. Talk about Jesus. Talk about what he does in my life. A lot of times I get emotional. Half the time I cry. That's probably nothing uncommon. But that's where we're going. I save it to the end because it's not RD Reynolds Jesus Loves You YouTube channel. It is a hunting channel. That is mostly what the channel is about. But I use the opportunity to inject a little bit of, maybe a little bit of knowledge, maybe a little bit of wisdom. And you're going to say wisdom. You know, some of that wisdom comes with banging your head against the wall and saying, ouch, that hurt. Some of it's hard-learned knowledge. And a lot of it, I haven't even got to that part of my life. So, with that being said, there's a lot of hard stuff that we go through. And as hunters, I've talked about this a dozen times. We need to check on our friends. We need to check on our people in our circles. Yeah, I might have, I don't know, a couple thousand friends on Facebook, 26,000 subscribers on YouTube, but I don't know them all. There's a small circle of friends that we have, and we should do a better job on checking on them. We should do so much more during the hunting seasons. Just think about it. On average, I'm trying to speed this hot summer up. I don't like summertime. But you know what? Statistically, I only get about 60, maybe 70 summers. And right now, I'm already past halfway of the summers. So just think about that this year as you're going hunting. How many more seasons do you have with that other person? And also, how many seasons can you teach somebody else? How many seasons of hunting seasons can you make a difference over there in somebody else's life? Just think about that. You ain't promised tomorrow. Heck, we ain't promised the end of this show. So I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I'm going to close this out for tonight. And I hope maybe to run into some of y'all in South Carolina at the Florence PD Classic, or PD, what is that thing called? PD Florence? No, that don't sound right neither. It's Florence PD. Yeah, something like that. Just Google it. Florence PD ... Convention Center. Saturday. Maybe Friday. But I'm going Saturday when it's raining and I can't do nothing else. So, our Heavenly Father, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you for sending your Son to take the punishment, to take all the sin away from us, and paying that price that none of us could have done. None of us could have paid for. None of us can work our way to doing better. But thank you for your love and also your being faithful to your rules, your laws. Because without your rules, what would we be? Thank you for sending your Son to die on the cross and giving us hope. As so many people are hurting right now, Be with them. Comfort them. Like I said earlier, when you feel like God's not around, He's there. Most of the time, He's carrying you. Remind us not to look back and want to go back to what we came from. It's okay to think about the past and see where we came from, but let our minds not want to drift back to what we were in the past. Make our future better. Make our future and prepare us to make your name shine. Be with our military overseas. Protect them. There's so much conflict over there. There's so much fighting and turmoil. Keep our military safe. And I thank you so much for the men and women who have fought for us, died for us, currently fighting for us, that we have so much freedom that I could sit here and talk about you tonight. So much freedom that I get a job, so much freedom that I can provide for my family. Just so much freedom that we all have that we don't even deserve. But I thank you. As the rest of the week goes on, keep the people that's safe with the rain that's coming. Thank you so much for that rain. We so need that rain. But be with the people that have to be out there in it. There's so many first responders. There's so many linemen, power people, DOT, highway patrol, sheriff's office, fire, EMS, tow trucks, wreckers. There's going to be so many people that's going to have to be out in that rain. Keep them safe. Keep us safe during the storms. Keep us safe as spiritual storms. You can calm them. You can calm the seas. You can calm the winds. You can calm the spiritual storms. Thank you for sending your son to die on the cross. In Jesus' name, amen. So hopefully, wow, the camera actually did a good job that time and allowed me to wipe my tears away before. That's amazing. I didn't plan that. That was surely luck. But until then, I'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a good week, and I appreciate each one of you. Here's a word from our sponsors.
Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information. The link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew. Flint Ridge Hauling Service, LLC, has partnered up with the channel. It is your go-to provider for all your hauling needs. They are not just any hauling service. They are an active DOT interstate hotshot hauling provider. Flint Ridge Service LLC prides itself in its reliable transportation services. This team ensures that your cargo is delivered safely and on time no matter the distance. Whether you need to transport goods across the county or state line, they have the capacity and the expertise to meet your hauling needs. Equipped with a smooth riding 40-foot air ride equipped trailer and a max hauling capacity of 20,000 pounds, there's no load too big or too small that they can't handle. Look no further than Flint Ridge Hauling Service LLC.